Holy hell, it's been way too long. For those who don't want the explanation for my long departure, you guys can just skip through and just watch the beginning of the video. But there was a point in my life where after my last video, I was really disappointed in it and it did not do well and I was really discouraged. During this time, I asked a lot of you guys in my Discord server, which is now deleted, if I'm a good YouTuber. And of course, you guys said yes. I didn't believe that though, and I announced my retirement in my Discord server. So for months, I tried new things like football content and wrestling content, but they didn't click. A couple days ago, I watched some of my old videos for a laugh. But watching them reminded me how passionate I was in cartoons, and I was really tempted to go back, but I was scared to come back because I was scared I wouldn't get a lot of views. But I decided to give it a shot to finish the story. So if my next 3 out of 5 of my videos do not get at least 50 views or more, I will continue. But if they don't, I will just quit YouTube altogether and do other stuff. So yeah, let's get on with the video. I love Spongebob, and it's been a part of my life for as long as I can remember. I've never told you guys my favorite Spongebob episodes though. So here are my top 10 favorite Spongebob episodes of all time. Disclaimer, these are just my opinions, and if you disagree, comment down below your favorite Spongebob episodes of all time. Also, specials won't be allowed because specials have sort of bigger advantage than normal episodes since they get more advertised more and just are overly promoted more than normal episodes. So yeah, let's get on with the video. Number 10 is Frankendoodle. If there is an episode I'd recommend to someone who has never seen the show, it'd be this episode. This episode almost feels like a Tom and Jerry episode. So an artist drops his pencil into the ocean and it lands next to SpongeBob and Patrick. At first they panic, but then they realize it's just a pencil and they start drawing with it. Just to realize the drawings that they make come to life. They start having fun with the pencil till they try to prank Squidward and using Doodlebob, aka the name of the SpongeBob drawing, completely kicks Squidward's ass and steals the magic pencil and goes crazy for like the first 7 minutes of the episode. First 7 minutes of the episode were amazing. They were filled with great jokes and some fast-paced action. Doodlebob is a great character in this episode, and despite him not being able to speak English, his actions really did speak louder than his words. Then there's Patrick, who is just super funny in this episode. He has so many iconic one-liners in this episode.
No way! I created this monster, and I've got to stop him. Neo-Flying! See what I mean, Patrick?
Where's the leak, ma'am?
The last few minutes, while not as good as those first 7 minutes, were still great. I love the final boss battle between SpongeBob and Doodlebob, and the ending is hilarious. You guys gotta check this one out. Number 9 is Idiot Box. This episode wasn't even on my top 10 pre-movie SpongeBob episodes of all time. A video you guys should check out. But rewatching it really made me realize its greatness. So SpongeBob and Patrick buy this gigantic TV just so that they can go inside a box to do their
imagination.
But Squidward thinks it's a bunch of bull, and he takes the TV and decides to ignore the commotion. Then Squidward starts to hear the stuff SpongeBob and Patrick imagine, and he starts questioning if this is truly just their imagination. I really love the premise and the overall plot. This is a great example of Squidward doubting SpongeBob and Patrick's antics and thinking they're stupid, but actually trying them and finding it fun. I absolutely love the ending where Squidward believes in imagination. Then it turns out it was a garbage truck that was just picking up the box to dump him somewhere. The jokes of course hit the mark, and the charm in this episode is so good. It's a well-structured story and I really recommend it. Number 8, the Krusty Krab training video. I don't need to explain the plot. This episode is what the title says, Krusty Krab training video. The jokes here are timeless. The narrator is absolutely hilarious and offers some great humor. You also have the Squidward joke, which is something I shouldn't like, but it just works so well because of the execution. And of course, the poop joke, aka people order our patties. That joke was so intelligent, and that's probably one of the best poop jokes I've ever heard in a cartoon. The ending is just so great, and if you haven't watched this episode, it's kind of an episode you should watch if you want to know more about the Krusty Krab. So yeah, on to number 7. Number 7 is the fun episode. Nostalgia may be kicking me in the nuts as I watched this episode so much as a kid. Plankton is tired of losing to Mr. Krabs, so he gives up. SpongeBob feels bad and tries to be friends with Plankton, but Karen sees this as an opportunity for Plankton to steal the Krabby Patty formula. This episode is a great episode that fleshes out the Plankton character. Plankton is my favorite character in SpongeBob apart from SpongeBob himself, so I'm glad to see him get an episode that develops his character a bit more. Yeah, the ending kind of throws all of it away, way, but Plankton would be lying if he said that he did not enjoy it, since he was literally rambling about it to Karen. And everyone knows what's the most iconic part about this episode, and that would be the fun song. This song is just an iconic jingle, and I can sing it from word to word. Season 1 SpongeBob is so charming, and it's an episode that should get so much praise, and of course it gets the praise it deserves, and it's episodes like this that make it such a praised season. But let's get on to number 6. Number 6 is Sailor Mouth. This episode was going to make it in the top 5, but there's just 5 episodes that I consider better than this episode. SpongeBob and Patrick learn a new word and they think it's fancy talk, so they start saying it to almost everyone just to realize it's a bad word. This episode does something really well, and that is not doing the whole cussing joke in an annoying way. They make sure the joke isn't overused and use it at the right moment. That's fucking awesome. It's welly paced, and I really love the ending. It's a relatable episode to kids who learned a bad word for the first time. It showed in a very subtle way that SpongeBob and Patrick do not mean any harm, and Mr. Krabs is portrayed in a really good way as like the father figure to SpongeBob and Patrick. It doesn't feel like a forced lesson. They try to teach you something while making you laugh your ass off. So yeah, that's all I have to say, and it's one of the best episodes of season 3. Let's go on to season 5. Number 5 is Wet Painters. Kicking off the top 5, we have this masterclass of an episode. SpongeBob and Patrick are ordered to paint Mr. Krabs' house without getting any paint on any of his paintings or furniture. Otherwise, he will cut their butts and hang them on a wall. This episode's visual jokes are really funny. SpongeBob doesn't really do a lot of them, so seeing them do it here is really cool. And it isn't childish or anything or over-exaggerated. It's executed really well and it's funny. Patrick is very stupid here, and normally I'd hate this, but pre-movie wrote Patrick so well that he can get away with a lot of stupid stuff he does. You see, if you do dumb characters right, the amount of things you could do is endless. Like, look at this vending machine scene here.
Our butts are saved, Patrick. Now all we have to... Patrick! No! Patrick, no! Why did you put it... Ah! Grab it, Pat! Grab it! Hurry! Hurry! No! Pat, no! Get it, Pat! Get it! Get it! Get it! Get it! Get it! Get it! No!
Want a bite?
Okay.
This should be unwatchable, but it's perfect. From Patrick's reaction to SpongeBob's scream, it's just hilarious. And the ending maybe have retconned everything, but they give Mr. Krabs his comeuppance, so there is some satisfaction. I think this episode isn't as highly rated as it should be, because I think this episode does so much things right. But yeah, I think it deserves a watch from you guys. But let's get on to the number 4 position. Number 4, Texas. I know it's a wild take, but I think this episode is a really heartwarming episode. So Sandy is playing with Patrick and SpongeBob, but then she gets reminded of her old town, Texas. She starts really missing Texas, and we hear this great song of Sandy's love for Texas.
Wish I was back in Texas. The ocean's no place for a squirrel.
This is one of the most heartwarming SpongeBob episodes of all time. SpongeBob's care for Sandy is just beautiful, and he does everything to make Sandy happy. The ending is so beautiful, and it's an ending that's honestly really heartwarming. Every character is written so well, and even the Bikini Bottom citizens, who are usually annoying as hell, are really well written. It's an amazing episode, and I think it's pretty underrated. On to the top 3. On to the top 3, we have Pizza Delivery. Some people would put this at number 1, and I cannot blame them. Pizza Delivery is just such an amazing episode, and it's the first episode that really showed SpongeBob's greatness. So SpongeBob and Squidward go on to deliver a pizza, and they go through a bunch of wacky adventures. Sounds simple, but the execution is absolutely beautiful. SpongeBob and Squidward are the perfect duo. SpongeBob is portrayed as the excited worker that is willing to deliver the pizza to this customer, and Squidward is portrayed as the worker that just does not give a fuck and just does not care about the customer at all. This is how you write characters. This is how mid-season SpongeBob should have wrote these two. SpongeBob is just so good at these type of things, and I can't really say a lot of things about this episode because so many people have praised this episode to death. I mean, if you want to hear a full-fledged review on this episode, maybe one day I'll do a solo review on this episode. I don't know. I'm just gonna say right now, this episode is really good. This is the definition of a perfect SpongeBob episode. If any SpongeBob episode wants to take inspiration from any SpongeBob episode, it should be this exact episode, because this episode shows what SpongeBob is really about. Number 2 on the list is Chocolate with Nuts. This is the funniest SpongeBob episode of all time, and no one can convince me otherwise. So SpongeBob and Patrick become salesmen and start selling chocolate. Sounds very simple, just like pizza delivery, but it's absolutely class. The jokes here are absolutely iconic. You have this guy.
Chocolate! 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 Chocolate!
And of course, so many iconic jokes. This episode is engraved in my mind. I know this episode like the back of my hand. This episode truly is the definition of classic SpongeBob. Pizza delivery is the definition of a perfect SpongeBob episode, but this episode is the definition of classic SpongeBob. If you want an episode that is just amazing and just gives you a lot of lulls from beginning to end, you have this episode. Because this episode, even some of the visual jokes in this episode are world class and just overall an iconic episode. Alright, so before we get on to number 1, we're gonna have to go through some honorable mentions. And you know what? I don't want to do a full-fledged thing where I talk about these episodes right now, because I want to save them for solo reviews. So you know what? The editor Piggy, shout out to Piggy who is editing this video right now, I'm going to send him a list from 11 to 20, which is how I would rank these episodes if I was doing a top 20 list. These episodes were definitely going to be on the list, but they were cut off due to me finding the episodes on the top 10 list way better. So yeah, let's get on to number 1. If you did not expect Band Geeks at number 1, you clicked on the wrong video. I don't even need to explain the plot. Band Geeks is just the best SpongeBob episode of all time. It has laughs, it has emotion, and it's just so beautiful. Squidward is someone who, in pre-movie SpongeBob, yes, did, do some pretty shitty things, was still a lovable character in pre-movie SpongeBob. And we always felt bad for him in some ways because his life kind of sucks. So seeing Squidward finally get his crowning moment at the end of the episode is just the best satisfaction you can ever get in the episode. The Sweet Victory song is just, man, that just gives you chills. And yeah, there's my favorite joke in SpongeBob of all time.
Is mayonnaise an instrument?
No, Patrick, mayonnaise is not an instrument. Horseradish is not an instrument either.
And overall, man, there's nothing you could say for Band Geeks. I mean, every big reviewer has praised it to death, and I'd just be repeating what everyone else said, so yeah. Well, you've made it at the end of the video. For those who are watching this video, thank you really very, very much. I mean, I don't know if there's going to be a lot of people watching this video. I mean, I know there's going to be at least a couple, but if there's at least 50 views on this video, I think I can consider this return a bit of a success because, it's not bad. It's kind of shitty, but it's not bad. At least I know that I still have a decent audience that's still watching me, so that will make me motivated to come back. Make sure to like and subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and this is Haji X Prize, and I'll see you all on the flip side. Goodbye.